even a man can do this.
Wow.
David, oh, you got that. Okay, very good.
Okay. So, can you hear me now? Is
Nope.
this thing on?
Yeah.
I can hear you. I have it. I flipped the switch. Yeah. Okay. So, whenever I do the Sabbath school lesson, I like people to know that I'm not a theologian. I'm just a Bible student, and I like studying the Bible. So when you see me up here dressed up like I know what I'm doing, just so you understand, I'm not a chef, I'm not a cook. I'm just a regular guy. But some of the things we're going to look at today are so simple that anyone can do them, even someone like me. Now, here at the Living Well, we're going to be talking about the basics of food preparation. And we like to encourage a plant-based diet, right? And there's a lot of reasons why a person would think it a good idea to eat plant-based food. For instance, you want to prepare for heaven. If you go to heaven, you're going to notice there's no fried chicken up there. You can't go chasing the animals to use them for dinner or anything like that. That's the rules. You want to get used to heaven's diet, right? Up in heaven, we're going to be eating plant-based food for the rest of eternity. It's a non-violent diet, so people like to eat that because it's non-violent. It's also sustainable to the planet. So if you're thinking about the ecological problems in the food supply, when you eat a plant-based diet, you're helping our planet, which is a nice thing. The diet that also corresponds with the physics of God's universe, which means when you eat a plant-based diet, your chances of getting sick are much lower than if you eat an animal-based diet. And also it helps prevent disease. Now, suggesting a vegetarian diet many times scares a lot of people. It's a big word, vegetarian, 5 syllables. And people ask themselves the question, do I have to be a dietitian in order to be able to eat a vegetarian diet and not die of starvation? Some people think it's very boring to eat vegetarian. They think it's not satisfying. It can't sustain me because I'll die of starvation. There are some perceived objections, and we're going to look at some of these today. Some folks say it's too complicated. Oh, it's too complicated, or it's too time-consuming. It takes too long to prepare. It's hard to plan. And some people think it's too expensive. Some people are worried about what they call weird foods, like fake meats. And a lot of people, they just don't know how to do it, or they don't know what to do. So we're going to try to answer some of these mysterious questions today. We're going to be looking at the building blocks of meal preparation and the basics of menu planning. Now, when you do these things yourselves, you'll be making all kinds of changes, and you'll be able to fine-tune it to your own particular environment. Now, in our society and in our culture, many people are truly unfamiliar with real food. Takeout food is very easy, and convenience food is very convenient, but it's high-priced. A lot of times, the purchase price in the short run is high-priced, and also the overwhelming medical bills that happen later on in life, very, very serious. Now, I know we're all busy people. We don't have time to waste. And so we're going to discuss some time-saving suggestions today. Simultaneity or multitasking is a great way to prepare food and get things done. Now, I'm a man. Men don't multitask. Only women know how to do that. But what I teach you today, you will understand that it's possible for even men to multitask. So we're going to have some techniques for planning and executing in a relatively short time. Okay? So here you are, Saturday night, and what you can do is take some beans, right? Now go to the bulk section in the supermarket and get yourself the dried beans, the ones that are the cheapest you can get because nothing's been done to them. take them home and get a lot of different kinds of beans, because there's lots of different beans that you can utilize. First, you take them and wash them really quick, and then put them in a container, like a pot, cover them with water a couple of inches over the top, and then let them sit overnight, okay? And don't touch them until Sunday morning. And then on Saturday night, go out and do something interesting. And if people ask you what you're doing, you say, I'm preparing my food for the week. Okay? So, Sunday morning, what you're going to do then with your beans is you're going to rinse the water out, and then you cover the beans again with water, and you cover the pot, put it on the stove, turn on the fire, and get the water boiling. Once the water is boiling, turn the heat down and let it simmer. And then leave it alone for 60 to 90 minutes. Now, you have a piece of paper here. On the front, you got grain and legume cooking times. So depending upon what bean you're working with, you can see from this chart how long to let it simmer. And this is very easy to follow. It's so easy, like I said, even I can do this. On the other side, we're going to be looking at these recipes on how to prepare these things. And we'll get to that in just a little bit. Now, while your beans are cooking, you want to prepare your vegetables for cooking. So, set up another big pot and boil some water in it, okay? When you first wake up in the morning and you can't do anything, you can't think about anything because you just woke up, get into the kitchen, put the big pot of water on and start it boiling. Then in the meantime, wake up, clean up, and when you're ready to start preparing food, now your beans are simmering, right? So, you got your water on the pot, on the stove, and it's boiling. While it's getting ready to boil, you get your vegetables, whichever ones you want, wash them up real quick, trim off like the stems, right? And then, when the water's boiling, get a metal insert, right, like a colander. You put your vegetables in that and lower it into the water. Now, let's say you're starting off with broccoli. You throw the broccoli in there and leave it in there just for 3 minutes, really quick. As soon as 3 minutes is over, pull the broccoli out. It should be bright green. If the broccoli looks bright green, you did it right. If the broccoli looks kind of mushy and dull, you left it in there too long, and if you eat it, it's going to give you gas. So take it out when it's bright green and still got some crunch to it. Okay, so once you get your broccoli out, then you throw your string beans in and let them go for about 3 minutes or so. Then when those are done, pull those out and then put in your cauliflower or your spinach, whatever else you have, and get those warmed up and cooked. And then after they're done, when they cool, bag them and put them in the refrigerator. Okay? So when you're done with all the vegetables you're going to be eating over the next few days, and you got them in the bags, use the same water that you used to cook your vegetables and make your grains. Okay? The preparation for the grains is pretty similar to the beans, and if you look at your chart on your paper, you'll see that it's practically the same. The only difference is timing. Now, what you're going to want to do with your grains, especially if you're going to have rice, there are some serious problems with the way they produce rice these days, and arsenic becomes a real problem with rice. So you can do two things. One, you can get the rice that doesn't have a lot of arsenic in it. Lundberg seems to be a good company dealing with rice because they deal with the fact that there is an arsenic issue. So they work to try to make sure that their rice doesn't have the arsenic. If you do get rice, try to get organic rice. If you don't have organic rice, one of the best things you can do dealing with the arsenic is let it soak overnight, and then in the morning, throw the water away. That gets rid of about 80% of the arsenic. So soaking your beans, soaking your grains, very good thing to do. So you use that same water that you used to cook your vegetables, so you get whatever is in the water into your rice or whatever grain you're going to use, like barley or amaranth or whatever. Okay? So now you prepare a lot of beans, you prepare a number of grains so that you can utilize them in the coming days of the week. So one day, let's say you want to have some rice. So the next day you don't want to have rice, you want to have quinoa. The following day, let's say you want to have some barley, so you can mix it up as the days go by. You don't have to eat rice every day of the week. Okay? Some days you might want to have black beans. Then the next day you might want to have white beans. Or you might want to have chickpeas. You can mix and match all these different combinations that you prepared over the weekend. And you can use them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, grains are very versatile. They go very well with fruits, and they go well with nuts. Go pretty well with me. And they also go well with the savory entrees. So if you like something sweet, you can have your rice with something sweet. You heard of Rice Krispies, right? I mean, I'm just saying, it's not unheard of that you can have grains with something sweet.
Rice pudding.
Rice pudding, another one, another wonderful thing. But you could also have rice and beans. So you can have rice with something that's savory and salty. Okay, so now this way, you don't eat the same thing over and over again, you don't get bored. And so what we're doing is we're going to be preparing a lot of food, which you can refrigerate, and you can even take some and freeze it for later. All right? Now, there are some cooking tools that are very useful. And I'm not talking about the ridiculous single function tool like have you ever heard of the runny nose yolk separator? Go on your computer and go for images and look up runny nose yolk separator. You'll see what I mean. It's disgusting. But anyway, I'm referring to good quality, versatile, and useful tools, something that you can utilize in a lot of different settings. Okay? Things like a slow cooker. You can get something going in the slow cooker at night. And in the morning, you've got something already done. While you were sleeping and getting your rest, you were actually preparing for the next meal. So you're multitasking, even while you're asleep. Food processor, food chopper. It's another thing that really helps to make things work well and speeds the process along. And this handheld immersion mixer, an immersion mixer, really works nicely in certain settings, and we're going to demonstrate that to you today. So they speed up the preparation process. They don't take a long time to clean. It would be horrible if you saved a half hour and then you spent the half hour cleaning the unit afterwards. It doesn't make sense. So anyway, if you're going to get some tools, make sure you get good quality tools. This immersion blender is made by Braun. It's over 200 watts. So it's strong and it's not going to break down easily. Saves a whole lot of time chopping. And anyway, here we're going to come to, what's that? If you get frustrated enough, you can use this to mash the vegetables. Yes. Oh, instead of having to mash them. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of wonderful things that are useful. Okay, so now, here we're going to come to the secret of really good, delicious food, okay? So while your grains are cooking, you're going to prepare your sauces. And this is what makes all the difference. This is the secret to delicious food. If you have tasty sauces, you can You can totally change the character of any food you choose to eat. With different kind of beans, different kind of grains, and different flavored sauces, you have the potential for a great variety of flavors, textures, and nutritional content. So you mix and match and experiment to your heart's content. For example, you can have rice and you can add some chickpeas. Now, you can use canned chickpeas, those are okay. If you didn't, soak them overnight, you can get canned as well. You can get some vegetables with some fresh avocado and tahini sauce. Put that on top and it's absolutely delicious. Or you can take something like potatoes with beans and lentils, some carrots, celery, a green, and top it off with the coconut ginger sauce. Or you could have sweet potatoes flattened on your plate like we were talking about. Take that sweet potato, smash it, right? And then you top it off with some black beans, some lettuce, tomatoes, kind of like haystacks. We all know what haystacks are, right? They don't only have to be with chips, corn chips. So, and then on top of all that, you can put either a salsa or you can put the yellow sauce or the tahini sauce, whatever you want to have for that particular day, for that particular time. So we have the grains and the beans as the building blocks and the foundation. We have the vegetables, the fruits, the nuts that are kind of like the walls. And then we have the sauces that are the trim or the roof to finish off the building. So we're going to have some sauces that you can refrigerate and some you can freeze for later. For instance, you could take some pesto, right? In the summertime, when you can get basil fresh, you can make a pesto sauce. Really nice. You can use some and refrigerate it, and you can take some of it and freeze it. So later on in December or January, when you can't get it fresh, you pull it out of the freezer, let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, and then the next day you can use it in your cooking. And you'll be so happy you have pesto in January. Anyway, so we're going to demonstrate right now, we're going to demonstrate 4 of these sauces for you today, so you can get an idea of how easy it is to actually do this. So I'm going to ask my wife to come up here and help me. You are going to help me, right? Okay. So the first thing we're going to be making is going to be the lemon tahini sauce, right? Okay. So let's do this one. Lemon tahini. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be using this immersion blender. It's a nice tool. What you do is you have a container of the appropriate size. Don't use a container that's too small. It will test your Christian experience to the max. You don't want to do that. So use a small, but also make sure it has a wide mouth at the top so you can get your immersion mixture into it. Okay? So now, as you can see, that's how it works. Okay, next. So, the first thing we're going to do with the lemon tahini sauce is we're going to take 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Now, you can, if you want, utilize real lemons, cut them and slice them. If you're not going to make a whole bunch of stuff, that's okay. But anyway, you can also get stuff out of the bottle if you want, in a pinch. Okay, so there's our 1/2 cup of lemon juice. We're going to take 2 ounces of extra virgin olive oil and pour that in. Then we're going to take, I can't help it, I just hate wasting stuff. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is 4 tablespoons of tahini. That's sesame seeds all ground up. wonderful thing. Then after that, okay. After that, we're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's quick. And then 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Okay. And then we take our mixer, we put it inside. We don't want to paint the walls. Huh? Now this has adjustable speed on it. And a little water, okay. Is that a little? A little is a very relative term, honey. How's that? We good? Okay. All right, so, what's that? All right. I hate wasting anything. Please forgive me. All right. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Now, throw that in. Sorry. Okay. So, now you can use this on, what's that? Sorry. Okay. She said put a lid on it. So I'm gonna do it. But that's it. This is done. Now labeling would be a good idea right about now. Yes, you want to put the date on because you don't want something sitting in the fridge for an exceptionally long time. It develops fur. Okay, so now you can use this on grains, beans, falafels. If you want to make a falafel, don't eat too many falafels because afterwards people will say, "How are you?" You say, "I have a falafel." You can put it on salads, vegetables, burgers in place of mayonnaise. It's really nice what you can do with this stuff. So next, we're going to make coconut ginger sauce. And what's that? You can use it about a week. Yeah, I wouldn't keep it much longer than that. So when you make it, use a lot of it. You made it. You can use as much as you like. Anyway, the next thing we're going to do is coconut ginger sauce. So now we're going to start with this. Actually, is a 1 can. You think this is big enough for this? Okay, so this is 1/2 a can of full fat coconut milk. All right. This is a 1/2. 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Then you have 1/4 cup of fresh ginger. And 4 cloves of garlic. Teaspoon of ground cumin. 1½ teaspoons of salt. 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And 1 teaspoon of star anise. A little water. Okay. we will attempt. to get this to work. Slow it down. Huh? Okay. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Can you watch this?
Yes.
Okay. Got it? Okay. So that is coconut ginger. You put everything in. You can use it on rice. You can use it on noodles, beans, vegetables as a soup or as a sauce. And we'll clean that up later. Okay.
What of that is in our cups on our plate?
A lighter colored one. Okay. So. Should we just do the last sauce and then talk about the salsa? Okay. So we're gonna make one more sauce, that's the yellow sauce that goes with everything. And, okay. Okay. So now, 4 cloves of garlic, 2 inches of crushed garlic, ginger, sorry, excuse me. 2 tablespoons of tahini, or this is actually almond butter. It is tahini. Sorry, folks, last night it was almond butter. Oh. Anyway, 2 tablespoons flaxseed oil, 2 tablespoons nutritional yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, that's what turns it yellow, and then 4 tablespoons fresh lemon juice. We have some water. How much water? Okay. Now, put the blender in. What's that? Okay. Ready? Here we go. Okay. Here we go. This is how you build faith, because you can't really see it underneath your hands. Oh, okay, it worked out okay. So anyway, that's it. So, are we done? Okay. We're going to show you this. We're going to show you the salsa really quick now. Where does this go? With the salsa, you're going to use a blender. A food processor. Here it is. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to, let me throw these right in here. The first thing goes in is the tomatoes, right? Okay. So you can use tomatoes or you can use tomatillos. Those are kind of like tomatoes that are gift wrapped. Then we have a quarter cup of lime juice. cilantro. Good thing to do with the cilantro is make sure you chop off all of the stems. Although with this machine, it'll make quick work of the stems. And then some salt and onions. Now with this, you don't want it going for a long time because you'll end up with soup. So you do pulsing, right? What's that? I hope that's not a spoon. Open it. Keep going. My word. It's the top thing. That's what's going there. So folks, don't mix the top. Anyway, so that's it. You don't want it to be too smooth, otherwise it becomes soup. Let it stay chunky, and then you can throw that on whatever you like to throw salsa on. Put it in the jar. Okay. Do we have, okay. So anyway, that's pretty much it as far as the demonstration is concerned. Oh, how long did we take? That's cool. How long did it take, folks? Yeah, it's not very complicated either, as you can see. If I can do it, you guys can do it, anyone can do it actually. So, and then when you have these, like I said, if you have them in your fridge or if you have them in the freezer, depending upon how you work it, you can pull it out and utilize it anytime during the next few days. And
So by the end of the day, that's a whole week's meal prepared, right?
oh, before the end of Sunday, you'll have plenty of time on Sunday to do other stuff.
Yeah. So, did David make that look really easy? Yeah. Yeah, and what did you think? Did you try all those different sauces on all the different foods? Yeah, and is that something that you would prepare at home and do? Yeah. I think so, oh, very good. Can we tell David, Daniela, thank you? And while we're doing that, we'd also like to thank all of our ladies and gentlemen who helped out for the evening and putting the dinner together, and welcoming the guests, and the gentlemen who are working so hard with this as well. Thank you so much.
Okay.
David, thank you. Now, as Deborah is preparing, I have a couple of things that we're going to pass out. So Nancy, if you would come and help me do this for 1 second. Does everybody have pens or pencils or something to write with? Is that a yes or a no?
No.
Okay, so we have pencils here, and Nancy is going to pass out some, I have a survey that you might have to share the pencil. I have a survey that we just have questions about our speakers and our presentations and the venue over the last few months, just from September on. So if you will, go ahead and fill that survey out and then give it back to Nancy at the desk when you leave. It's very important that you fill these surveys out so that we know how you feel about our speakers and about the food that we have made and about the venue and how can we make this better. We always want to make this better. And also we want to keep in mind, is this something that has helped you to become closer to God? If that's ultimately what we want to do, right? And I also have a few cards here that you can sign if you were here for our speakers, saying thank you to our speakers, and then I can mail them on. So we'll pass these around.
One very quick announcement, just so you know, next month, in February, we're going to utilize some of the techniques that we went through today, and I'm gonna show you how you can actually make a meal in 30 minutes. I have a doctor friend in New York City, he says, David, if you spend more than 20 minutes, you're wasting your time. Well, we do it in about 30 minutes, and it's pretty nice. So we're gonna have a race against the clock, and we'll see who's gonna win. So anyway, that's next week, next month.
We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. And so now, tonight, we have Deborah Holland. And how many of you have appreciated all of Deborah Holland's demonstrations? Yes. She gives us lots of good information about how to take care of ourselves with natural products. Deborah, are you ready?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Are you enjoying your meal? Uh-oh, you aren't.
Yes.
Not on. Okay. Let's fix that. Okay, now can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Okay, can you hear me? What's wrong? Testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Can you hear me? No?
I can hear
Oh,
you.
there we
I can
go,
hear you.
there we go. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed your meals thus far. It's pretty loud. Okay, what we're going to do tonight, real quickly, if this participates with me, this exercise, yeah, not going the way that I'm hoping, but it's gonna have to melt. We're doing what is called, how many of you have already got the bug that's going around, whether it be decongestion and coughs and all of that? Some of you probably have, or maybe your loved ones have, right? So we're going to create a chest rub, tonight, like a salve, in order for you to rub it. You rub it on the chest, and it helps to lift. It helps with your respiratory part, and it helps to lift and decongest. You know, so you would just rub it like you would do a big salve. Okay. So what to do that? You are going to start out with what is called beeswax. Can you hear me?
Would you like a glass of water?
Okay. We're gonna use beeswax, we don't have the recipe in your pack, so 3 tablespoons of beeswax, okay? And you can get the pellets, or you grind it down, you can, if you have a cheese grater or whatever, you can grate it, and then measure out 3 tablespoons of beeswax. And that's what I did here, I measured it out. And I added a cup, this is a cup of coconut oil, because it really is soothing to the skin, it's really good for the skin. And so that's what you're gonna do, you will rub this on the front of the chest, you also rub it on the back, whoever you're taking care of. And I just keep doing this over and over, and maybe next time we'll do what is called elderberry syrup, to teach you how to make your own elderberry syrup, to help with coughing. Okay, so this one we're doing tonight is just dealing with your congestion. So you will place your beeswax. This is a double, you can create your own double boiler. So you can place your glass bowl over the pot that has water in it, and it will boil underneath, and it will cause your oil and your beeswax to melt evenly. Okay, so it's almost melted right now, it's almost melted. And so I'm going to unplug this. We're almost done here. Okay, and now the oils that you will need for this to help decongest and help with the respiratory part of the heart, you will need lemon oil, okay? Lemon, and all of these you can add. I don't tell people exactly how many you should add, because some people may not like certain oils more than others, but I would say put 10 of each, okay? And if you don't want that strong, you can decide yourself if you want to put 6 or 8 or whatever. So lemon oil is one, then we will use lavender, which is going to help you to sleep, get some rest. And then we will have your eucalyptus oil, and you know, eucalyptus is one of the top oils when you're speaking of respiratory issues, okay? And then you have peppermint. Peppermint brings the blood to the surface. So wherever you're congested there, but the peppermint helps to bring the blood to that surface, to help you to hurry up and get over that, okay? And then we have, thief oil. Thief oil, and sometimes it's spelled, this is THRIVE, but, you know, this one has a combination of different oils that's great for antibacterial, antifungal. It helps with all of these other oils to kind of do the work it needs to do to decongest your chest, okay? So let's throw it out real quick. We're gonna take this off, and normally you don't want to add your essential oils until this has cooled down, so it won't destroy your oils. So we have a short time, and so I don't think it's too hot right now too. So we're gonna start adding the oils. Okay, we're starting with our 10 drops of lavender. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's your lavender. We have our lemon. Lemon is a great oil. A lot of people don't realize that it's not only for cleaning, but it's great for the body as well.
How many drops?
10 of each. We're putting 10 of each.
10 of each.
But you can decide yourself if you want to add that much, okay? And this is eucalyptus oil. And then we have the peppermint, and let's put this one here, feed oil. There's not much in this one. Sometimes your oils, I keep my oils in the refrigerator. Sometimes they will freeze where you're not able to use them, so, you know, but you do want to keep them fresh. Okay, now that I have my oils all inside here, I think I put everyone in. Okay, peppermint, I got them all in. Did I add lavender? I don't think I added lavender.
I'm sorry, how much of a beeswax?
At least 3 tablespoons of beeswax. Okay, I have all the oils in and it's cooling down. And so the next step, you can find these on Amazon or wherever, you know, look around, you can find different types of, this is a roll up. So that way you don't have to have your hand, you just roll it on your chest, okay? So normally it's best if you have something that has a spout, like this one. I will pour this into this cup because it has a spout. That's gonna make it easier for me to pour this, okay? So here we go. We will pour this in. Okay, you set it aside. The same thing with each one. And somebody is gonna get to take one of these home. Okay, there you go. And so that is all it is, and it's gonna set in by the time this program's over, it's hard enough for you to take it home, and you just roll it on your chest or on the back and massage it. And you know, another technique is when you're doing that, if somebody's congested, pat them on the back. It's like you're doing patty cake. You pat them on the back because you're loosening up the phlegm when you do that. So pat them on the back or pat them on your chest to loosen up the phlegm, okay? So that is it. That is a nice rub for someone that has a lot of decongestion going on and you need to get it out of there. Yeah.
Can you tell me again how much of beeswax and what kind of oil is how much?
Beeswax, 3 tablespoons. And the coconut oil is 1 cup. You can use coconut oil, or you can use grapefruit oil, grapeseed oil, but coconut is good for the skin, it will penetrate the blood, and it feels good. Okay, I think we're done. I want to take a pound. So that is it.
And I have,
Okay.
there goes one.
It's probably too much.
I don't have a whiffer, so I don't smell things usually, but I'll tell you what, I can smell this, and tonight I have a little bit of a sore throat,
I hate to throw this away, Sharon.
and I can smell it, and it's making me feel better already.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
You're
Deborah.
welcome.
Did everybody like this presentation?
Yes.
For those of you who came to our last demonstration that Deborah had, we were going to send out the emails on all of the demonstrations that she did. I sent out emails, but many emails came back. So please check with Nancy before you leave tonight and verify that your email address can be read and that I can see it and really read it so that I can send you these recipes out. Yes. I tried sending them out a couple of weeks ago. Yes. But it was a while after the demo, yeah. So just check again to verify, because I have a couple of email lists. So I'm glad you got it tonight. Okay. So if you give me 1 minute, Mark is going to set me up, yes. And while he's doing that, so did everybody get to sign the cards? There are 4 cards. You should have been able to sign all 4 cards. And you've got these survey, correct? So please let us know your thoughts on the survey, especially, and sign all 4 of the cards. Thank you very much. Okay, and, well, how's everybody doing? I have to wait for Mark to get back to turn this back on so we can start. Did everybody have a Merry Christmas? Yes, and did anyone try any of the recipes that we have shown you over the last several months or years? Did anyone use them for Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's? You did? Yeah, which one did you do? Excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. We actually did the same thing. The cashew. Ah, very good. Did anybody else? Yeah.
My daughter did a little variation on that cashew nut. She put just a little bit of sweetening in it, and it was so awesome. I had added salt, a little small amount. It makes like, wow, this is really good. She added a little bit of sweetening, and it was awesome.
Well, my husband tells me,
But just a touch bit.
I'm sweet enough that I make it better. Okay, you're supposed to really like that. Okay, so Mark, can we turn this on? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I have just lost thank you, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. Okay, so tonight, we're gonna talk about what is in my food. In a second. It takes a little bit, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's still working. All right, so the question I have for you is, when you are at the store and you purchase a package, what can you purchase that you can eat? What kind of package can you eat? That's right. The peeling on a potato. What else? A peeling on an apple?
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato, yes. What else? So the best packaging is what kind? The kind that God gave us in the first place, right? The packaging that we can eat.
Did you know you can even eat orange peelings?
That we can eat orange peelings. Did you know that if you know a smoker, that if you tell the smoker if they're trying to quit, if they take the orange peelings and they just chew on it, that it will help them stop smoking? Okay, but tonight we don't have that much time, so we're going to get going. So when you're at the store and you purchase a package that you're going to eat, you want to make sure it's a good package, such as the potatoes and the bananas, that kind of, you don't want to really eat that, but the banana peeling you can use for healing purposes, right? All right, so this is just showing us how to know what's on the labels altogether. So it gives you, I'm going to stand right in front of it, it gives you the use by date, and that's a whole other subject we'll talk about later on another time. That's the marketing date. Then we have the product name, Then we have the weight, so how much does it weigh? We have the ingredient list, and this is what the area that we're gonna be really talking about tonight, is that ingredient list. We have the usage instructions and the manufacturer's details.
There's a laser
There's a laser
on the
pointer.
very top. Come here, man.
Thank you. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so reading food labels. This is really important. How many of you really read your food labels when you go to the store? Excellent, I am so glad to see that. With my patients, I teach them to read food labels because it is so important. So when you're reading a food label, you are reading the ingredient list, which are done by weight. So let's say, and we're gonna look at these lists, but if you're looking at the list of food or ingredients that's in the package, that first ingredient is the most of that package. The second ingredient is the second most, third most, fourth most, and so on and so forth. So the first 5 ingredients are your most important ingredients, and we'll talk about that in a little while. So you want to become familiar with the terms for the different kinds of ingredients. You want to check for food additives. You want to figure out if it's enriched or if it's fortified. That's very important. If you have dietary restrictions or allergies, you want to look for those. Note the number of servings. That's important too. The number of calories, daily calorie intake depends on the person's age, sex, weight, BMI, and activity level. Yes.
On the ingredients, there's the ingredient called sodium acetate that basically sets the product from that.
Right, and we'll go over that. Thank you. Okay, so here is this is post raisin bran. Okay, I picked this one out specifically. So in this post raisin bran, we have the serving size, which is 1 cup. Who has a cup? Can I borrow your cup? So this is basically what, about 1 cup? Would you say, is that almost 1 cup? So how many of you eat raisin bran? I love raisin bran, right? Yeah. Okay. Would you eat 1 cup? No. Right, how many cups do we usually, when we fill our bowl up, do we use 1 cup? No. So you, 2, 3, or 4, depending on the person. So you want to make sure you're looking at the serving size. This serving size is 1 cup, and in that 1 cup, it says here, and I actually like this one, because it shows us per container. There's a 20 ounce, of which there's 10 servings, 25 ounce, there's 12 servings, 47 ounce has 23 servings. So in the 1 cup, it has 190 calories. And if you add a half cup of fat-free milk, okay, not whole milk, not 2% milk, not almond milk, you have to look at what kind of milk you're using as well. But this is using fat-free milk, that's 230 calories, right? So, and then you've got your saturated fat, your trans fat, polyunsaturated, you've got all your different fats, then you have your cholesterol, sodium, potassium, all these, and then your vitamins here. So you want to know what you're picking up. All right, so in the Kellogg's Raisin Bran, and again, I wanted to really talk about ingredients. I'm not going to go over all the packaging information, but I really want to hone in on ingredients. So in our ingredients here, we've got whole grain wheat. Now, there's a difference between whole grain wheat and different kinds of wheat products, and we're going to talk about these in a little bit. But notice, okay, so the first ingredient here is whole grain wheat. That's the most that's in this product, right? The second, then we have raisins. Well, that's good. We all like raisins. It's raisin bran. So that has the second most. Then we have wheat bran. And then, so this is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number
is sugar. Number 5 is brown sugar syrup. And then the rest of it contains less than 2% of everything. So number 4 and 5 is sugar. That's a lot of sugar. So you have to be aware of what you're eating. Okay, so what is the most sold product in the stores? Okay, not sugar, not flour, but what's the most, if somebody goes in the store at most office around the world, or at least in the United States, what is going to be purchased more often by most people? Sodas. Sodas. Soda is the most popular drink. It's the most popular food substance sold. According to the home study, it is cheap, and they usually put it at the front of the store so that you can see it. Because if you see it, you're going to buy it, right? Oh, I forgot, I want that. It is, in America, Americans drink 44 gallons of soda each year. That's per person, 44 gallons. So if you have, how many of you remember that in a can of soda, you remember how many teaspoons of sugar are in a can of soda? Yeah, 12 to 15 generally. Teaspoons of sugar, that's a lot of sugar. 44 gallons per American each year. Okay, beer is the second most product sold. And what's in beer besides alcohol? Sugar. Sugar, more sugar, yeah. Cereal is fast and easy. Cereal is our next most favorite product to be purchased. It's fast and easy. It's one of our favorite things for breakfast. Cereal boxes are often colorful. It's covered with fun because we all want to have fun. The kids want to have fun. They're hard to pass up. So when we're going past again, it's eye candy. We like to see these things. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to get that, right? Okay, and especially when the kids are around. So shopping to the hypertext book, according to the hypertext book, Americans consume about 10 pounds or 160 bowls of cereal each year. That, 10 pounds, I still don't believe that, because most people eat cereal. Not only do they eat it for breakfast, but they eat it for lunch and for dinner. And some people, especially, if you live alone and you have to eat by yourself every single day, what's easier than just getting a bowl of cereal? I'm guilty. I do that. Mark isn't home. I'm gonna grab a bowl of cereal, but I don't do Poco. Okay, so what's next? When you come home, it's late, you're tired, you want something fast, what's the next product you're gonna get? Burgers? No, that you're gonna do at home. Spaghetti? Apples. Good try. I mean, that's really good, but no. Anybody else have an idea? No? How about this one? TV dinners, that's right. TV dinners. That is the fourth product that most Americans buy because it's fast. And what do we think? We're taught that they are healthy, right? What are they called? They're called healthy man dinners. What are some healthy choice, right? Okay, so you have to read the labels and the ingredients to really know if they are healthy. So, labels. First of all, I want you to know that when you are reading the front of any particular box or package, don't believe them. They cannot lie to you out, just flat out lie, but they don't give you the whole truth either. So, there to lure you. It's just to make you think, oh, this is good. So they're going to give you the health claims on the front of it. Manufacturers want you to make you believe that the product is healthier than another or similar products. Don't trust them, okay? The second thing on the label, it's actually been studied that research shows that adding health claims to the front labels affects people's choices. It makes them believe a product is healthier than the same product that doesn't list the health claims. And 1, 2, 3, 4, that's just citing the different studies. And this last one, manufacturers are often dishonest. And really, are they dishonest? They're dishonest in the way that they use these labels. They tend to use health claims that are misleading, and in some cases, downright false.
And one of the most common ones is, it says all natural.
And we're going to talk about those all natural labels. We are getting to that. And then we have examples include many, whoops, there's my Cocoa Puffs. High sugar breakfast cereals like whole grain, Cocoa Puffs. We're going to talk about that. Despite the label, these products are not healthy. There's our Cocoa Puffs. Okay, let's look at the label. What do you guys see? Whole grain. It says whole grain. It says nutritional highlights, 110 calories, and it gives some other information. It's great chocolatey taste, natural. Okay, pay attention to this part. It's naturally and artificially flavored frosted corn puffs. Naturally and artificially. Okay, and then and this is for the kids, right? And this is for us. We like to have fun. All right, so here's our ingredients for the Cocoa Puffs. Again, we have a serving size is, can you see this? Actually, it's 3/4 of a cup. So 3/4 of this. Yeah, right. We're gonna need 3/4 of this, right? They are, yeah. Okay, so 3/4 of a cup is going to give us, and a serving, and per serving containers, there's about 12 of them in this package. So it's about 100 calories, but we're not gonna pay attention to this. Let's talk about the ingredients. All right, so here we have whole grain corn. That's number 1, whole grain corn. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Is that, wait. Okay. Number 2, we have sugar. Number 3, we have cornmeal. So cornmeal is the corn, the part of the corn that they aren't going to use anymore. They processed it down to whatever's left over. So they're going to use that. That's number 3. Number 4, we have corn syrup. Then we have cocoa processed with alkali. Then we have oil. Then we have more sugar, salt, color. This is color, caramel color. That doesn't mean it's real caramel. It's just something that looks like it, right? And then we have refiners. So we have a lot of sugar in this. So we have to make sure that we're reading the labels to know what we're getting. Okay, is there anything else on there? And of course, it has on here may contain wheat ingredients. That's for people who are allergic to products. All right, Cheerios. Yes.
Genetic modification.
Is that on there too?
Genetic and
Yep, whoops. Yes, it does. Yep, genetic engineering, produced with genetic
I have a
engineering.
question.
Yes.
When they say whole grain corn, so many of the things that we buy other than Bob's red meal lacks the endosperm.
Yes.
Vitamin
Yeah.
E thing is. How do you know that that says whole grain corn? What's our definition of whole grain corn in theirs?
And so for those who are on the filming who can't hear the question is how do we know what whole grain corn is and how much of the product are we using? And that was my question, and I went looking for that answer. I looked and I looked and I looked,
And in one of my slides that I actually took off, I have the whole sperm. So, but yeah, very frustrating. Okay, so we have Cheerios here. And again, we have a whole cup of Cheerios is 35 calories. Well, that's pretty good. We like that, right? We like fewer calories. And it's one whole cup. I don't have what I wanted to put there. Okay, well, we just go with that. But if you notice, we're gonna just highlight some of this. It says family size, and it says 100% oats. Something else is in there, but we really can't see it. And heart healthy, right? So this is all, this is marketing. This is marketing. You have to be very careful. All right. How many of us buy Morningstar? Yeah, we buy Morningstar, right? We like Morningstar? Okay, so in this Morningstar, this is Baja Black Bean, and it looks pretty good. It's 100% vegetarian, and it has protein, fiber. I'm sorry, it looks better on there. I can read it better. Okay, so the ingredients is, the most ingredient is water. We like water. Water is good. Cooked black beans. So this is black beans and water. Number 3, we have cooked rice, brown rice, water and brown rice. That's good. The next one is onion, then whole corn, currant corn, corn oil. So, going down, notice it does have egg whites and it's wheat gluten. So for those who are vegans, you would need this, and those who are can't eat gluten products, they would not be able to eat this either. The one thing that I wanted to show you here is this hydrolyzed vegetable protein. When you are looking at, and I should probably wait because there's another one that shows a little bit better. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about this because this is an extremely important ingredient. Okay, so food label facts. Beware of confusing food labels. Number 1, we have 100% organic, and this contains, let me go up closer so I can read it better for you. This one contains only organic ingredients, okay? Then 100% with organic. 100%, if this is 100% with organic, then certified GMO-free, organic, and all natural. I went to a corner market one day, the ones that the vegetable markets out. No, it's just a food stand. Oh, okay, thank you though. Okay, so I stopped there and I went inside and I asked him, are your products organic? And the gentleman said, of course they're organic. They're grown in dirt. Everything grown in dirt is organic. Okay. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, is it 100% certified organic? There's a difference. Certified organic means that they don't use any pesticides. It's all natural. That is healthy, right? Pesticides can be natural, doesn't mean that they're healthy. So you have to make sure just because it says it's all not natural, it says it could contain virtually anything. It's organic. It contains 25% of organic ingredients. This contains zero. I'm glad you can read that from that GMO ingredients, and then this is 50% of organic ingredients. So you have to know what the labels mean, and in order to be a good, we're running out of time. Okay, so there are actual ingredient labels from 9 products. Oh, this is 9 different products with different labels, showing the different ranges of antimicrobials, preservatives, clean labels, and to rely on simple preservatives. So again, if you notice here,
look at how many ingredients are on this label, how many ingredients are in this label. Look at this ingredient. Okay, so this is pumpkin. That's all that's in the package. That's what we're wanting, right? The fewer the ingredients, the better. You always, if you've got lots of ingredients, it probably is not something you want to purchase because it will have more of the products, other products that we don't want to eat. Okay, so a good rule of thumb is to scan the first 5 ingredients. Some sites say 3 ingredients. I've always gone with 5 ingredients because that's the largest part of the product. Okay, the first ingredients include refined grains, some sort of sugar or hydrogenated oils. All right, so we're going to talk about those hydrogenated oils right now. You can be pretty sure that the product is unhealthy. If you find any of these in the first 5 ingredients, you really want to put it back. Hydrogenated oils. In, I believe, the 1970s, or actually in the 50s, but they really started using it in the 70s, the hydrogenated oils. They found that if they used hydrogenated oils in the package, then it would keep the product on the shelf for up to 5 years. With that, it also does not, it's called trans fats. And the trans fats, they don't cause any fat, which is, everybody thought, well, that's wonderful. However, the real fact is those trans fats in the package, there's no fats, that's correct. But the moment that the trans fat hits the chemicals in your mouth, it changes into a fat. It goes right to the abdomen, and it literally stays there about 25 years. You can't, it's really hard to get rid of it. So no matter how much you exercise, you can't get rid of these things. So anytime you see trans fats, and which the World Health Organization has now pretty well banned trans fats. It doesn't mean that people can't use them. Companies that just the World Health Organization, who they say not to use them. But if we see this especially, you just want to put it back. Yes.
Shortening the same as a hydrogenated oil.
No, that's different. Okay, that's different. Not necessarily good. Right. Okay, so another good rule of thumb, if the ingredients list is more than 2 or 3 on the list, you just want to put it back. Okay, here we have soda, Coca-Cola. And on the Coca-Cola, I was interested in this one because, I don't think you can see it, but or maybe it's on a different picture. The Coca-Cola package for servings, it says it has, per serving is 1/2 of a cup per serving. And I think there are like 4 servings in one of the pictures. So I just wanted to show you that. Oh, there, oops, there it is, it's up here. So we have 1/2 cup, and there are 4 servings in that one can. Okay, so how many of you, I don't drink soda anymore, but when I used to drink a soda, I did not divide my can into little quarter cups. I drank the whole thing. It might have taken me all day, but I drank the whole thing. So just be aware. Make sure you know what the serving sizes are. Okay, so an 8-ounce serving of Welch's grape juice. We all think, oh, Welch's grape juice is good stuff too, right? But it contains 36 grams of sugar and 140 calories, and that's per serving. So about 1/3 of them, it should be them, than the same amount of Coca-Cola. You have to be really careful again. Just because it's a juice does not mean it's healthy. Yes.
Okay, is that 36 grams sugar natural? Sugar from the grape?
That depends on if that's what if they're adding anything to it or not. Now, if you take grapes and you make your own juice, that's going to be concentrated sugar. So if you take grapes and let's just say we have a bag of grapes here. Okay, if I eat that whole bag of grapes versus taking it and juicing it down, I'm going to get like this much of a glass of grape juice and from a whole bag of grapes. For me to eat a whole bag of grapes is very difficult at one time, but we can all drink a glass of juice, right? So it's very concentrated sugar. And that's what we're really trying to say here. All right, so on this one, this is, again, 1/3 cup, whatever this product is. And this is what I want to show you. Just watch your serving sizes. This 1/3 cup is 50 calories. And so you've got to watch your serving sizes. And most people like ranch dressing. But even in the light products, they're processed to reduce either the calories or fat. And some of the products are simply watered down. So it might not be a good product, they're just watering it down to make it light. So check it, because they add the sugar and they water it down. And that's what makes it light. Okay, here we have the multi-grain bread and multi-grain Cheerios. Again, multi-grain does not necessarily mean that it is healthy, because it depends on what they put in that multi-grain or where they got it. So here we have enriched flour. Well, enriched flour, all that means is that in the processing, they took out these ingredients, and enriching it, they put them back in. Not all of them, that's right. And you're taking out the best part and you're putting back in not all of the best part. So you have to read the ingredients, read your packages. Here again, we have whole grain corn, and how much, because we can't figure that out. So you want to be really careful what you're eating. Refined grains, very important. You want to, again, read your ingredient list and figure out, is this really healthy? Look how many ingredients are in this bread. Look how many are in this bread. How many of you make bread at home? Okay. How many ingredients do you use when, we might be using 5 ingredients when we're making our bread at home. Look how many ingredients we have in these packages. That's a lot. Okay, I've got to get going here because I've got like 3 minutes left. The word natural again, 59% of shoppers look for natural on their labels. Isn't really natural. 66% believe that natural means no artificial ingredients, pesticides, or GMOs. Again, not true. Natural, this does not necessarily mean that the product resembles anything natural at all. Again, they don't always tell you the truth. So apples or rice, manufacturers have a natural source from apples and rice. It just doesn't mean that they can use the whole thing, just use part of it. So here again, see the natural flavor. Natural flavor doesn't mean that it is the product. It's the apple flavor. It doesn't mean it came from apples. Okay, again, we're just looking at the different ingredients, and I'm just gonna, gotta get through here. Here's our labeling, 100% organic. We have the organic, and made with organic ingredients, and 70% green. So I really like this, and if anybody wants a copy of this, I'd be happy to email it out to you. Avoiding added sugar. All of these are different kinds of sugars. So when you're reading your ingredient list, you've got to know what the different kind of names of the sugars are, because they're going to trick you. Again, this gives you the different amounts of sugars in the different products. We're just going to keep on going. Low calorie products have to contain 1/3 fewer calories than the others. So what I did here was this is low-fat milk, which is 120 calories, and this is whole milk, which is, what was it, 200, not very much more, 150 calories. So 120 versus 150. And it's supposed to be 1/3 difference. Okay, here again, we have the ingredients, rich wheat and whole wheat flour, the grain stamps. There's so much. I apologize. Okay, we've got to, let me see what else we have. not gluten-free, so all of these products here, for those that are, need to stay away from the gluten products, these are all the different products that you can't use. Again, I just pulled lots of different products that are deceiving. So just kind of, oh, Coffee Mate is such a monster. And then nutritional facts, again, anyway. So the best way to avoid being misled by labels is to avoid processed foods. That's number one. Eating whole foods the way God gave us in the first place, that's the best way to eat, right? Learn to read your labels so that you can avoid foods that will hurt you. Whole foods have ingredients that are always healthy. And I want to thank you very much for spending your evening with us. And now we are, did you learn a little bit tonight from this? Good, as long as you learned something. And now we have our giveaway. Nancy, can you bring that up? Thank you very much. All right, and we have, Deborah has her, okay. And Deborah said that there's, you can answer it. Okay, so we have some sauces here. We have yellow and lemon tahini. We have salsa. We have coconut ginger. We have salsa and salsa. So whoever, you can come up and pick your own, all right? Oh, good, Deborah's here. Okay, the first winner is 289058. 289058. Yay! Okay. Our second winner is 289065. Oh, wait. I thought you were getting up to get this. Okay. 058. No 058? 058. The last three numbers, 058. Or 065. Okay, yay! Okay, here we go. 058. Okay. Come on up and get one. Go ahead and just pick one. Thank you. Okay, and then we have 063. 063. And we have a cookbook, and then we have 50 ways to pamper yourself. Ooh, I like that. Okay. And then we also have a scalp massager. Thank you. Okay, 06, that was 068. Okay, and the next number is 075. Yay! Okay, 075. And then we have 073. 073. Darlene, is that you? Okay. This is what's left. And yes, and then we. There we go. Yeah, no, well, no, you can have that or the one. Okay, how about 055? Okay, Pete. And how about 061? I saw everything there. Yeah, you can get that. Okay, and how about 081? Yay, Gail. Okay. And Gail has to come up and get this. You get this, or one of these. Your wife didn't tell me what you get.
You'll like this.
Okay. And then we have 079. 079, if you have those, it's okay. And then we have one last one. Wait, she gets to pick first. Okay. Salsa and the scalp scratcher. Massage. You massage. Okay. And the last one goes to 078. got it? Okay, you got the salsa. All right, so, David did everybody turn in your surveys? Okay, so to give them to Nancy, did everyone get to sign the cards? Okay, there were 4 cards to sign. Now, at our next Living Well seminar, it'll be Dr. Ron Brooks. He works in the emergency room at St. Agnes, and he's gonna come and talk to us about healthy living with the way that we eat. Sounds familiar, right? Any questions, any comments, anything you? We also want you to know that we have the women's ministry program that happens every Wednesday at 5:30, and then we have our prayer meeting and Bible studies Wednesday evening at 7. We have a new youth group on Saturday at church for church service, and of course we always have the orchestra. If you play an instrument, come and play the instrument for church with us. Anything else going on, ladies and gentlemen, in the church that we want to make sure we tell everybody about and invite everyone to? All right, and everybody have a wonderful New Year's? Very good. Yes.
Over in the corner, I brought a lot of glass jars. I'm no longer canning jam, jelly, etc. Anybody's free to take them home.
Thank you very much. She has glass jars over here. You're welcome to take those home. And again, we want to thank all of our people that assisted tonight. Can we give everybody a hand? Thank you for coming out tonight. We're just 5 minutes late, and let's have prayer and we will dispense. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for teaching us, Lord, how to read our ingredients that we are purchasing off the shelves. Lord, keep teaching us how to eat the way you have wanted us to eat, so that our bodies can be your temple, so that you can live inside us. Our heads will be filled with you and not with sugar and other products. Now take us home, Lord, and get us there safely, so that we can come again and meet another time. Thank you for each person that is here. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you very much, everybody.